In Animal One, we talked about some animal science careers, kind of generally speaking. I really want to talk very specifically about the small animal industry and not only employment opportunities in the small animal industry, but also the benefits of it. As much as we love having our dogs around and how cute they are, there are actually some pretty big benefits to small animals. Economic benefits are one of those. There's thousands of jobs in the animal science industry, specifically the small animal industry, and about $38.5 billion that's going into the national economy every year. That's a big number. There's social benefits, which I know a lot of us enjoy, with small animals serving as companions and pets. Almost 60% of American families have pets, or 68.7 million households. It's a lot of pets. And at least most of them have or all of those have at least one companion animal. Sometimes they have more. Children are going to learn responsibility and social skills with pets. A lot of times, here, you get a guinea pig first, and all right, now you're older, we'll graduate you to a puppy. But children get to learn responsibility from taking care of their animals, and also social skills and how to interact with animals. And the elderly benefit quite a bit from small animals. A lot of it is just improved quality of life. Just hanging out with their dogs or their cats, they have, that companionship that they look for. It's been proven that people who own a cat are 30% less likely to suffer a heart attack. I need to look up the statistics on dogs, but that's pretty cool just with cats. They also provide a valuable means of testing and developing new products such as drugs, vaccines, that sort of thing, in a laboratory or research setting. So hepatitis, diphtheria, tetanus, and polio vaccines were all perfected through small animal research. Small animals that are being used in pet therapy will help patients to overcome illness, improve their vital life signs like their heart rate. Blood pressure a lot of times goes down when you hang out with your animals, relieve depression, and just provide a better quality of life in general, but especially for senior citizens or disabled individuals. Dogs in particular are very useful as watchdogs. They're used for police work and also seeing eye dogs. Now we have seeing eye miniature horses. Pretty awesome. Rabbits. For anyone who does eat rabbits, they are an excellent source of meat that is very low in cholesterol. It's also low in sodium and fat. But it is supposedly, I can honestly say I've never tried it, but supposedly it is highly palatable or tasty. And it's a very high in protein food source. Some small animals are used to provide products like fur or wool for the production of different clothing items like coats, hats, gloves, that sort of thing. Exhibition of animals. So this would include things like any sort of entertainment, whether that be at a zoo or a circus act, anything like that. So it provides entertainment, but it also increases an appreciation for the animal. Rabbits are actually pretty versatile, believe it or not. They are raised not only for pets, but also for food and clothing. The Angora rabbit is used a lot for its fur, sometimes not humanely, but for the most part, humanely, and also research purposes. They make really good research animals. So those are just kind of some social benefits or some benefits to society, but there are actually some pretty awesome economic benefits to them as well. This is specific to the small animal industry. So across the U.S., there's 15,000 to 18,000 retail pet stores. Those are your PetSmarts, your Petcos, all those different things. There's biomedical research, which is supported by $15 billion worth of taxes and charity. And research uses somewhere between 65 to 100 million small animals. 6 million small animals are going to be used in educational facilities, so our 2 guinea pigs and our 2 rabbits are included in that 6 million. 4 million small animals were used for the LD50 test. And the LD50 test is called lethal dose. It's the 50% lethal dose, or the median lethal dose test. And LD50 is the dosage of a substance that's necessary to kill 50% of test subjects. So basically, once 50% of your test subjects die, you have reached the lethal dose. That's kind of the idea. You're trying to find where the lethal dose is. Now, some animals can tolerate more than that, but once you've hit that 50%, that's your lethal dose. And they measure this after a certain duration of time. That duration of time depends on the drug. And this really is what we use to measure toxicity. I almost said consistency. That's not right. It's a substance's toxicity. And Americans spend $20.3 billion per year on their pets. I know I am very, very guilty of going into Walmart and going, oh my gosh, dog sweaters are on sale. And Tucker is, let's be honest here, a true Floridian. He does not do cold weather, so he really likes his sweaters. It's quite funny, actually, to see a 55-pound boxer running around in a dog sweater, but he loves them. Veterinary expenses specifically are about $9.2 billion every year. Any supplies or over-the-counter medicines, like I have Colby on an anxiety supplement, that would be considered an over-the-counter medicine. Add on somewhere around another $9.3 billion. And grooming and boarding account for about $2.7 billion. Dogs require twice as much for veterinary care as cats, and really more than any other small animal. So if you're going to have a companion animal, dogs are going to be your most expensive one as far as veterinary costs. But they're also, I would argue, some of the most loving in return. So it's worth it to me. I'm also allergic to cats, so it kind of rules them out. Pet food manufacturers produce about $15.4 billion in sales. That was a quote from 2006. I can guarantee you it's gone up since then, but that is the most recent statistic that I have. Alright, on to some general pet ownership topics. These are just kind of some fun statistics to think about. There's about 10 million more cats than dogs. Somewhere in the range of 81.7 million cats to 72 million dogs. These are your crazy cat ladies that have a whole bunch of cats in their house with them or in their yard or something like that. Each cat owner typically has 2 cats. I realize that's an average, but on average, a cat owner, if you're going to have only cats, they have about 2. Dogs are found in more households. So the average cat owner has 2 cats. The average dog owner probably only has 1 dog. We're spreading the dog love a little bit more. Dogs are found in 37.2% of homes, and cats are found in 32.4% of homes. Fish, birds, and rabbits rank 3rd, 4th, and 5th as far as pet ownership, respectively. Alright, so now we get into the fun careers working with small animals. So these are small animal specific careers. The pet industry really is just one small piece of the small animal care and management industry. Other jobs that are included in this would be lab animal care. So we actually do have people that monitor lab animals that are not actually doing research. They would be considered part of the small animal care industry. Zoo animal care, animal health care, which does not include veterinarians, animal training, and also in the area of biological sciences and research. There's also jobs that are needed to supply animal food. Okay, so if you're working for a pet food manufacturer, you're technically in the small animal industry. Equipment, like anything you would find in a vet clinic, and anything healthcare-wise. So if you're working in a veterinary pharmaceutical company, you're part of the small animal care industry. So there's research jobs. Research can be in hospitals. Hospitals do actually use small animals for their research. Colleges and universities, obviously, diagnostic labs, and also private firms do their own research in not only the pharmaceutical but also the biotechnology industries. And exhibitors. Exhibitors operate any sort of animal act, whether that be at a carnival or a circus, public zoos, and of course marine mammal acts like you would find at SeaWorld. All right, so specific jobs and careers. So pet care workers. So there's many different types of them, and they provide a whole bunch of different services to small animal owners. They're employed in boarding kennels, animal hospitals, animal shelters, pet stores, pet training schools, and pet grooming parlors. These are the people that take care of animals that are not with their owner. Okay, so working in a kennel or something like that, you're providing care to an animal that is not your own. Kennel attendants, they specifically work only in the kennels, and they feed and care for any animals that are staying there, whether they're being boarded or, maybe it was a stray drop-off or something like that. And they're also responsible for keeping kennels clean and free of any excrement. Small animal breeders, these are people that raise and market fur-bearing animals, and these could be animals for sale to pet shops, they could be lab animals, and also for the general public. And they also make sure that they arrange their matings appropriately, and they care for the females as they're pregnant and giving birth, and also the babies before they're weaned. Typically they specialize in just one breed. So for example, if you're a breeder of Labrador Retrievers, you're pretty much going to stick to labs. You're probably not going to branch out and do Weimaraners. Animal groomers, these are individuals that keep your babies pretty. They bathe your pets, they brush them, and make sure that their hair and nails are trimmed. Dog trainers. So dog trainers are the people that make our dogs behave, essentially. Of course, you can do this on your own too, but there are professional dog trainers out there, and they teach dogs to obey different signals or commands. They can also specialize, and they can teach dogs to hunt. There's the herding breeds. They can teach them to herd. They have the herding instinct, but they need some refinement sometimes. Or track. They can also be taught to guard lives, or in the case of our seeing eye dogs, lead the blind. Pet shop owners. So pet shop owners actually own the shop, and they care for any small animals that they offer for sale. Typically they offer a variety of small animals, and they really need to be knowledgeable in pretty much any area. So they need to be knowledgeable in not only running a business and dealing with customers, but also the types of animals they have and how to care for them, because customers are going to come to them and say, I want to buy my child a hamster, but I have no idea how to take care of it. They have to be able to give some advice. So pet shop managers run the daily pet store operations for the owners, and typically they also are very knowledgeable in any of the animals they offer for sale, and how to care for them. And then veterinarians, this is everyone's favorite. So they are doctors of veterinary medicine, and they treat and control any animal injuries and diseases. They also are able to vaccinate animals against disease, and inspect animals and meat products that are going to be used for food. So not only do we have our small animal veterinarians, but we also have our food animal veterinarians and our large animal veterinarians that are really trying to make sure that animals are being treated appropriately, so that once they do go off to be packed for meat, they are packed appropriately, and they will pass a food inspection, basically. They're also able to perform surgery, set broken bones. They can establish diet and exercise routines for the maybe slightly overweight dog, which, I'm not going to lie, I'm culpable of that. And they can prescribe medicines. About a third of the veterinarians in the U.S. only treat small animals. Dealers are people who will sell lab animals for research and teaching, stuff like that. And veterinary technicians, they assist the vet. It's only a 2-year degree. It's a little bit different. But they can also help to diagnose and treat animals. They can do a little bit more than a veterinary assistant, but they can't do as much as a veterinarian. But they can give vaccinations and do routine checkups. Alright, as always, please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching.